then we permit those people that disregard the Senate to continue doing their things and doing bad manners. Last Mr. Speaker, Senator, you should not feel bad when Senator Sifuna says
Road Authority
that
received
the CS Treasury is learning bad manners.
599 from the National Treasury and dispersed the money to the National Land Commission on 12th October 2023, and we should...
You see, Honorable Chair, we woke up very early in the morning to come and attend this
Speaker,
session. The question that I was supposed to put
that
to
amount,
CS Mbadi,
the
is a question that is over a year old.
million received for this specific road project was paid out on a priority basis, starting from kilometer 0, where the road starts, which explains why some landowners have not been compensated while others have. However, the remaining balance of 86.6 million will be paid to the remaining landowners as soon as the funds are received from the National Treasury. Cognizance of my background statement, honorable members, will work closely with the National Treasury to ensure that budgetary provision and cash flow releases for the budget already, the budget ceiling already provided.
This is unacceptable.
As soon as provided, we should be able to continue the compensation. The ministry will coordinate closely, like I just said, with the National Land Commission to submit timely data of project-affected persons to the National Treasury to enable the planning of budgeted amounts for that compensation.
Honorable John Mbadi must be called to order.
Members, thank you.
This is not the John Mbadi I knew. I don't know what they have done.
Is there a senator who has a specific follow-up question on the specific questions asked by Senator Mofire? If not, I would request that Senator Mofire, you ask your supplementary questions to your question.
I don't want to...
You know, I have listened to the background which has been prosecuted by the CS.
Substantial contribution to the
and that background has been with us for quite some time. And I think, Madam
to deal with these
Speaker,
crises that we have.
You know that when funds will be available, it's a very common phrase in the government circles.
The Kenya government,
Madam Speaker, those people have waited for decades.
Imposed a duty.
So people lost their land. You know, there have been promises over promises that money will be available at this particular time.
Now, when you talk about
but those people, Madam Speaker, are running out of patience. And I think the CS should state categorically when these people are likely to get their dues. Because, Madam Speaker, they have matched to relevant departments, relevant ministries, and the answer is they will be paid when the money will be available. That is an answer, Madam Speaker, that is not bankable. And I cannot go back to the people and tell them that money will be been paid when money will be available. So I don't know what measures is the CS taking to make sure that those people are compensated. You know, those are poor people, Madam Speaker. They are people who have lost their land. They are just commoners in the village. And they have been waiting for that money for the last almost 10 years or so. So I think it's important that the CS comes out clearly and assures this house there is any measure which is supposed to be put in place to expedite this process, that these people get their dues as required.
The iron
CS
were earning this economy about $8 million. Per year. Yes. So just to put it in...
thank you for the supplementary question, Honorable Speaker. I take note of
$8 million just
Senator's Senator Mwenda's supplementary question, and wish to confirm, Honorable Chair, that we will pay attention and provide priority to the ongoing projects. Very importantly, when there is a budget ceiling and a budget which we do work together between the National Treasury, Parliament, and the Ministry, and having given the background of the 2024-25 finance bill, which did provide for a lot of these budgetary requirements, Honorable Chair, I want to confirm that we'll closely pay attention, particularly to the compensation to the project-affected persons, I did give the background on the 7 shillings road maintenance levy additional funds, which we are working on a framework of ensuring that we deploy that prudently to be able to address some of these challenges, and particularly the project affected persons, because even if we were to put it to start the construction of the road and the project affected persons on the corridor have not been compensated, it is all in vain. So let me confirm, Chair, that I'll pay attention to the ongoing projects, particularly compensation of the project affected persons, as we work through the additional road maintenance levy. We are working on a framework of securitization and seeing whether, like I said during my confirmation hearing, whether we can get a bullet payment and sort out all the outstanding pending bills. Thank you, Honorable Chair.
Senator Mofaya?
Seriously, I hope now that he's trying to run the ropes in the ministry, then I'm going to take his one seriously. Maybe in the next 3 months or so, I think I'm going to remind him. Actually, I will be visiting in office soon to make sure that those people are compensated, because it's a matter that has been in this out for almost 2 years now, right? And those people have been waiting, trying to see when their money is likely to be paid. So, Madam Speaker, the CS will be reminding you now and then to make sure that those people get their money. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Madam Speaker, I seek your indulgence and advice, because looking at the questions that are being asked, they are somehow related. So instead of asking supplementary question on each question, maybe if you allow those who are listed here to ask all the questions, then later on we can come in with supplementary questions. Because I can see what Senator Gatai has asked is almost the same thing Senator Boni Kalwale will ask. So that we can have supplementary questions that are somehow combined.
Well, thank you, Senator Thangwa. I think what I had thought, that's why I said we will only allow you to ask if you have one on that specific issue. But what I'd like us to do is go through the questions, and then we will allow the rest of the members to ask the questions they have to the CS. So, Senator Khalwale. DS.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for your guidance. But specifically, I have an issue on this particular road because it traverses Meru County.
Proceed.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. My question is still on this same road. This section now, which is St. Mary's Kinoro, is in Meru County. And I am aware about the compensations. They have not been done. But more importantly, Mr. CS, Honorable CS, is the state of that road. Because in Meru County I come from, we are losing a lot of resource, as in loans. Because Mr. CS, like this Kinoro, St. Mary's Kinoro Road is a paved road, but very dilapidated, and there is no maintenance on that road. There is a lot of potholes, lack of drainage on that section. So we are losing another very important resource from Chogoria, which is traversing almost 6 constituencies from Chogoria, which passes through Mara constituency, South Imenti, Central Imenti, up to North Imenti. This is Chogoria, Marimba, Meru Town Road. Has the same problem, Madam Speaker. Don't cut me short, Madam Speaker. This is very important, and it is right in my heart, Madam Speaker. So I'm kindly requesting whether maybe as you look for resources, whether you can be able to allocate some resources, which I've really canvassed even with the ministry, the CARA and all these people. They are aware of that problem. Okay. Mr. CS, some of us even getting to our homes is a problem because the county governments are not working for us. So even drones leading to our villages, even to my house. I want to declare that 2 weeks ago, I paid some people iron and grinder to do my road. As a senator for Meru, I was doing it when I was a member of parliament. But people in the village are crying, why you are very senior as a senator, you can't do the road nowadays. So I was forced to hire a grader to do that particular road to my house. And this is in Lekon because I've canvassed this in all the offices. They are aware of the problems you have in that county. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Senator, CS, I suggest you note that down. Once we finish the other questions, ensure to respond to Senator Kathuri's question. Senator Halwale, are you ready?
Yes, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, I rise to ask question number 65 on the order paper, that A, could the Cabinet Secretary provide a list of landowners who granted way leave for the upgrading to bitumen standard of the Shikalagala-Butere Road and indicate the respective amounts due as compensation to each? B, why has the government not yet paid out compensation to the said individuals years after the project was completed, and could the Cabinet Secretary indicate the timelines for the same?
CS.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Let me go straight to the responses of those two questions. I wish, Chair, Honorable Members, to state that a total of 326 landowners were listed for acquisition under the Gazette notice I have listed in the response number 10918 of 22nd December 2020 for the project of upgrading the Sigalagala Musoli Sabatia Butere Road to bitumen standard. The notice detailed the individual identified persons or affected persons by the project and the indicative acreage size for acquisition, a copy of the Gazette notice which we attached in the response. The National Land Commission, Honorable Chair, which is mandated to determine individual entitlements in respect of land acquisition, is yet to issue the schedule of awards for this project. But Honorable Chair, the time lapse is big. Allow me to go back and find out why the National Land Commission has not responded to date and then be able to follow up because December 2020 from the time we gazetted to date is really a long time. On the second question, as a ministry, we empathize with the project affected persons following the inordinate delay in processing their compensation. The delay is due to the extended duration required to process the matter in consultation with NLC. Honorable Chair, the ministry through KERA has been in constant communication with NLC on this matter. This began with the gazettement of the affected parcel via the Gazette notice of 7 July 2017, number 6472, followed by a Gazette notice number 10918, which I did mention on the first question of 22nd December 2020, which published the corrections to the first notice and indicated dates for conducting inquiries by NLC. The ministry facilitated these processes in full and was thus awaiting issuance of award letters to the project affected persons. And the award schedule to KERA detailing compensation amounts informed the provision of fund for the same. KERA sent reminders to the Commission via a letter of 27th November. I've given the reference 2023, and another letter of 15 April 2024. Again, the reference is there and it is annexed. The National Land Commission, Honorable Members, Chair, wrote to the Ministry on the subject in its correspondence via letter of 21st September, referenced Annex 3, and regrettably the letter indicated a decision by the Commission to recommend degazettement or regazettement of the project due to the non-completion of the acquisition process within 24 months. A letter we have already appealed. The ministry appealed to the Commission via a letter of 26th April 24 to reconsider the decision to degazette the project and proceed to issue awards for the parcels cleared for payment as per the post-inquiry report, while the remainder of the parcels are duly processed in line with the recommendations of the report. This appeal, Honorable Chair, is in light of the distress caused by the project affected persons by the extended delay in processing their compensation. The consideration, time and public resource already spent, and the desire to finalize this process. Further, it is worth considering the cooperation extended by the PAPs, the project affected persons, in allowing the full completion of the road project by 2021, much ahead of the processing of their dues. So far, we are engaging with the Ministry of Lands, Public Works, Housing and Urban Development to intervene and facilitate the fast tracking of the necessary processes to allow the eventual compensation of the project affected person for this project. And upon issuance of the award...
Yes, just hold on. Honorable members, please listen in silence. If you must consult, don't do it in loud tones, please.
Upon issuance, Honorable Chair, of the awards, the Ministry shall prioritize the settlement of this compensation at the first available opportunity, subject to the availability of the funds. I wish to confirm that, Honorable Chair, we have now received the award from NLC, totaling 50 million Kenya shillings, and we'll work very quickly and very closely with the Treasury on the budget line and start the compensation process in line with the due procedure of how to compensate. But because of that appeal, NLC has come back. They have now cleared 50 million, and I want to confirm that it's just a budgetary process and a payment process, and we'll work closely with NLC to clear this concern on this particular road. Thank you.
Senator Khalwale, do you have any supplementary question?
Madam Speaker, this question does not warrant a supplementary question, but I just would like to prick the CS. CS, the people you are talking about are not many. They are limited to only Shitori sublocation, Mkomari sublocation, Shitochi sublocation, Shivakala sublocation, and Shibuname sublocation. And Minister, I'm pricking you by telling you that the better agenda of the current government, you and I and others developed it. You and I, we are the founder members of the United Democratic Alliance. We had a vision of sorting out such a small things. Now these people are dying one by one, including a distinguished politician called Malama Itolondo, now dead. A distinguished public servant, Sakaria Wakalash Mechero, dead. A distinguished businessman, Elijah Shitoka, dead, and many others. Please, bears, kindly use this opportunity to invite me to your office on a specific date, whether it is weeks or months. I come, you sort me out, Kenyans to feel part of the welfare of this nation.
CS.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. After this session, I will sort out a date for a cup of tea with Senator, and it's just ask for a date, and I'll do that sometimes next week. Thank you.
That is okay. Can we move on to the question by Senator Morango? You have 3 questions. So you ask each, it is answered, and then you move on.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. My first question is, could the Cabinet Secretary provide a status update on all ongoing projects by the national government for the upgrade of roads in Kirinyaga County to bitumen standard? That is question number 66A. The same question B, why has there been a delay in the upgrade of Kimbembe Kanjiji to Konye PI Road, Kagumo Kiamaina Kaduduma Road, and PI Jokene Kiamotogo Karumande Kiamisiri Road, popularly known as Mosibiu Ageshogo, to bitumen standard, despite their importance in enhancing the economic potential of the region? That's my first question, Madam Speaker.
CS.
Honorable Chair, thank you for the question from the Senator, Kirinyaga Senator, Honorable James Murango. Let me go straight to the response. The following, the two projects are being implemented by the agency in the ministry are annexed in my response. And the ministry is aware of the economic significance of the two roads projects. However, the delay in completion is due to the pending payments or to the respective contractors, as stipulated in my response. Let me deal with the first Muthiri, Kagoi, Baricho, Gedhuya segment of that road, where we have a pending bill of 107, almost 108 million Kenya shillings, and where the status of the road is 64% completed today. I did check, and I should have provided in this response that there is a budgetary allocation from the current printed estimates of 67 million, and that will help us to expedite and work this road towards completion. If we can get the contractor back to site on account of payment of that 67 billion, and because it is 64%, which is significantly work done, we'll ensure that with the budget ceiling in the printed estimate of 67.162 million, we will endeavor to ensure that we do provide the outstanding funds so that this road can be completed. But more importantly, Chair, with my background information, I did indicate that we are trying to do a bullet payment on a process. We are working to raise funds to pay for all the pending bills so that not only this road can, the contractors can go back to work, but we can get contractors on all roads in our counties to go back to work. On the second PI Mbiri Ngiriambu Road, this is one where Kirinyaga is among the 15 roads which have been now fully funded through the China Africa Development Bank in the just concluded visit by His Excellency the President to China or Beijing during FOCAC summit. And then therefore, Honorable Chair Mheshimiwa, this road is now fully funded and we'll see works progressing without any further undue delay because this road is amongst the 15 roads which have been taken up by China Development Fund, and it will not rely on our treasury allocation. Thank you, Chair.
Senator Murango, do you want to go to the next question? Or you have a supplementary? Okay.
Asante sana Mr. Speaker. Ningetaka kuuliza waziri kama bajeti iliyoko ambayo amesema tayari kuna mgao wa kuweza kumaliza hizi barabara, kwamba hizi barabara namuuliza kama ndio katika ile bajeti ambayo iko ya bilioni 17 hizi barabara zimewekwa katika orodha ambazo zitakuwa zikilipiwa ili ziweze kuendelea. Hiyo ndio swali langu la ziada, Mr. Speaker.
Order, Senator Murango, you will determine whether you want to ask your questions in English or in Kiswahili. That's a supplementary question. Yes, that is the rule of the House.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Madam Speaker, it's not a problem. I was just wanting to ask the CS whether these loans are covered in the 7 billion budget which is there for the loans, so that I can tell the people of Kirinyaga that this road will continue and they will be complete. And thank you, Madam Speaker.
CS.
Honorable Chair, I did indicate that on the Muthiri Kagio Baricho Road, there is a budget ceiling in the printed estimate of 67.1 or let me, 67,162,149 in the printed estimate, and therefore we can seek to get the contractor back to work on account of that pending bill of 107. But I did say, Chair, because the road is 64% done, it's in the significant stage of finishing, and therefore we'll work very closely with the contractor and the ministry. I've got my PS and the CEOs, the DGs for the various agencies to ensure that some of these roads that are already 50% and above are given priority. On the second one, Piambiri Road, I did say it is fully funded, and therefore the contractor will go to site on that road. I know it's 11% completed, but there is full funding on that road now, having been taken by China Development Bank with a full funding of about 2 billion. Do I have the specific number somewhere? So that road is fully funded, and therefore the contractor's stakeholder will go back to site, and the road will not stop until completed because funds are fully provided for through that facility. Thank you.
Senator Morango, you want to go to the next question?
Yes, Madam Speaker. My next and final question is, are there plans by the government to upgrade Wanguru airstrip in Mwea constituency, Kirinyaga County, for use by, among others, horticulture and miraa farmers to transport their produce? And if so, could the Cabinet Secretary state whether an allocation for the purpose has been made in the 2024-2025 financial year budget? B, could the Cabinet Secretary outline the policy measures implemented by the government to develop air transport in the country, and particularly in Kirinyaga County? And C, what steps has the minister taken to construct airstrips in the counties where there are none? Thank you, Madam Speaker.
CS?
Honorable Chair, Wanguru Thiba airstrip is a code C aerodrome capable of handling aircrafts with passenger capacity of 13 and has 2 runways. We'll recall that this is the airstrip that was used during the national celebrations last year. 2 runways, 12/30 and 07/25, measuring 790 by 18 meters and 670 by 18 meters, respectively. The airstrip, Honorable Chair, Honorable Members, has an area of approximately 21.4 acres and is registered as parcel number Mwea Tebere B/139. Honorable Members, albeit that this facility is not within the management of Kenya Airports Authority, its upgrade to accommodate commercial flight has been planned in 3 phases, as highlighted in my response with the first phase.
Senator Gerard K, please. Let's. Yeah.
With the first phase having been completed by the authority at a cost of 49.9 million rather, it commenced on 27th September 2021 and was completed on 16 December 2021. The works involved site clearance, topsoil stripping, earthworks involving runway excavation, drainage works, and all the works including cutting of tall trees, relocation of overhead Kenya power lines on the final approach of the runway, and preliminary items for mobilization. That phase has been completed at a cost of 49.9 million. The second phase, which is proposed, and we'll pay attention to this, will involve cement stabilization on the gravel base layer using some of those high capacity cements for the 2.5 N or provision and placement of 35 millimeter asphalt concrete type 1 on the runway and all the associated work, including drainage work, construction of line drainage using invert block drainage with side slabs or stone pitching on the sides. And the phase 3, Honorable Chair members, which is again proposed, will involve acquisition of additional 9.5 acres of land for the construction of the apron, taxiway, car park, terminal building, and offices. It will also involve the construction of apron taxiway and construction of passenger terminal building and offices, car parks, associated wastewater reticulation. The upgrading and rehabilitation works of this facility.
Order, Senator Chirchir and Professor Ojenda. Please have some respect for the speakers.
The upgrading and rehabilitation works, Chair, of this facility will really also be dependent on the allocation of funds, but because we've already started the works, we'll pay attention as a ministry, give priority to make sure that when the limited resources are being shared out, we do allocation to make sure we complete that work. On the next question on air transport is a vital component of our national infrastructure, significantly contributing to economic development, tourism, and regional connectivity. As Kirinyaga County, just like other counties, seek to enhance its economic prospects and improve accessibility, understanding, and the government's strategic plans and policies for air transport development is essential. The ministry, through its implementing agency, Kenya Airports Authority, is currently developing a policy on development, rehabilitation, and maintenance of airstrips that will provide a framework for preventive maintenance, corrective maintenance, and reconstruction works, including allocation of financial and human resource and technological applications in maintenance and repair activities. In addition, Honorable Chair, it will also guide the respective coordination roles and responsibilities of the appropriate functional areas. On the issue of what the steps the ministry is taking to construct airstrips in all the counties, Honorable Chair, the Ministry of Roads and Transport, and more specifically the State Department of Transport, has undertaken several initiatives to construct and upgrade airstrips in various counties. This is part of a broader effort to enhance connectivity, like I mentioned earlier, promote economic growth, and improve access to emergency services. One of the key steps include the allocation of substantial funds for airstrip development. For instance, the ministry is investing some 785 million shillings to upgrade 7 specific airstrips, namely Migori airstrip in Migori, Lanet airstrip in Nakuru, Kitale airstrip in Trans Nzoia, Angama airstrip in Narok County, Isiolo airstrip in Isiolo County, Kambunde airstrip in Homa Bay, Malindi airstrip in Kilifi. These upgrades are aimed at enabling these aerodromes to accommodate larger aircrafts, thereby boosting domestic air travel and tourism, honorable members. Furthermore, the ministry has launched an initiative to construct new airstrips in counties that currently lack such infrastructure. This includes the construction and upgrading of 12 additional airstrips nationwide, with notable projects like the Karenga airstrip in Kericho County and the recently reconstructed Matulo airstrip in Bungoma County, which recently saw successful test landing. The ministry is also, honorable members, in the process of establishing airstrip fund dedicated to the development and maintenance of airstrips across the country. This fund aims to ensure continuous improvement and sustainability of these airstrips to support local air travel and cargo handling capabilities. These efforts, honorable members, reflect a comprehensive strategy to make air travel more accessible and efficient, supporting various sectors such as tourism, healthcare, commerce, and facilitating faster movement of people and goods across the country. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Thank you.
Senator Murango, do you have a supplementary question on that?
This is my final question, Madam Speaker. And I would ask the CS what he is doing to make sure that the Olende constructed loans, which are less than 3 years, they are well maintained. Because some loans like Road 2, Kimande, Kiandieri, Kangaita Road is already dilapidated less than 5 years after constructing it. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
CS.
Thank you for that supplementary question. Like I said again, Honorable Chair, in my opening remarks, as soon as we unlock the challenge of pending bills, and I think that's really my priority agenda, we should be able to get all the contractors back on site. More importantly, the 7 shillings under the Act really should go more into maintenance. Like I said, there are so many orphan roads across the country today, and it appalls upon all of us to ask ourselves, how do we protect the 4 trillion investment that I talked about? Because a stitch in time saves 9. And therefore, let me specifically look at the particular road that has been mentioned by Senator and confirm the kind of scope of maintenance budgetary allocation, but more importantly, look at the bigger picture of ensuring that we do not have any orphan road that does not have allocation for maintenance. Thank you, Honorable Chair. Thank you.
Honorable Senators, pursuant to Standing Order 34, I wish to direct that the session be extended by 15 minutes to accommodate the questions. Thank you. We now move on to Senator Tobiko. Your questions, please.
Thank you, Speaker. Madam Speaker, I needed to know from the Cabinet Secretary the status update on the construction of the road off Mombasa Road from the Daystar University Junction to Stony Athi, stating the scope of works and indicating when the project will be completed. Do I ask all the questions or just that one first? All right. And Madam Speaker, I also needed to know from the Cabinet Secretary to provide a status update on the proposed tarmacking of or racing to bitumen standards of the Ilasit Rombo Taveta Road in Loitoktok. Madam Speaker, I also needed to get a response from the Cabinet Secretary on the state update on the status of Masai Lodge Tuala Kitengela Road in terms of raising to bitumen standards. Madam Speaker, I also needed answers on the progress for the Gataka Ongata Rongai Road, all in Kajiado County. Let the minister outline the steps being taken by the ministry to fast track these projects. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
CS.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Honorable Senator Peris Tobiko, I wish to begin by saying that the project title is the upgrading to bitumen standard of road within East African Portland Housing Scheme in Machakos County. Phase 1, the road length is 15 kilometers and the physical progress of construction is 86% completed to date. The detailed scope of the works, if you allow me, Chair, included the site clearance for the whole of the road reserve, earthworks to formation level, construction of 300 to 400 millimeter improved subgrade base, construction of 150 millimeter neat subbase on the carriageway, construction of a 150 millimeter semi-improved base on the carriageway, provision of 50 millimeter thick asphaltic concrete type 1 as wearing course and the 35 millimeter on shoulder where necessary. construction of a triple box culvert, construction of a series of cross culverts, and construction of access culverts. The project, Honorable Chair members, commenced on the 24th of June 2021, and the expected date of completion is October this year. So we need to just confirm that at 86%, we mobilize resources, to confirm that we are able to finish on that timeline, plus or minus. So, Honorable Chair, Honorable Peris, we seem to be at the tail end, and I'll personally pay attention to the completion of that road, given the fact that we are 86% complete. Regarding the proposed tarmacking of Ilasit-Rombo-Taveta Road, Kenya signed a commercial agreement in May 2019 with Sinohydro, Annuity Road, lot number 32, the service provider for the development of this road under the road annuity contract of 10-year finance designed, built, maintain, and transfer model. However, following concerns on affordability and value for money, the government of Kenya recommended a review of the project's value for money, position, and consideration of possible restructuring options to enhance value for money, and this is affecting a number of road annuity roads across the country. And to ensure that the project affordability to the government is obtained. The review is currently ongoing. I was talking to my technical team, and under the road annuity program, a road that will otherwise cost the government 65 million per kilometer on an EPC contract costs 125 million on the road annuity program. So, honorable members, we are reviewing that very quickly, and we'll then proceed. Honorable Speaker, the project for upgrading to pitman standard and performance-based routine maintenance of Ongata, Kataka, Mbulbul, Cooperative College, Karen, Matasha, Ongata Rongai, Nazarene University, Rimba Junction, Leswa Academy, Kahara Road, totaling 65 kilometers, again is 57% complete today, with a total of 22 kilometers tarmacked to date, and the remainder at various stages of construction. The project has faced challenges, honorable members, in completion due to the several fiscal distress following the accumulation of significant amount of pending payments owed to the contractor MS China Civil Engineering Construction Corporation, which is currently owed 135 million Kenya shillings. The ministry has forwarded the cumulative pending payments to the National Treasury for funding consideration and has requested Parliament to consider substantially increase the annual allocation to roads to facilitate the comprehensive settlement of pending bills resulting from ongoing stall road projects. But, honorable members, from my initial statement, you'll recall that I did indicate that I'm paying attention and significant attention to the pending bills so that we do not only unlock this road, but all the pending bills which has caused contractors to suspend works across the country, upon which we should be able to see rejuvenation or contractors back to work to ensure that all our roads are being worked on as it were. In the meantime, the contractor is under instructions to maintain the road ahead of the main works as a situation to ensure that the road is motorable. And Honorable Chair, members, I will pay more attention to this, and I can also do a cup of tea with Paris to really look at the more details on what we need to do to ensure that even as we work on budgetary availability, the road is motorable accordingly. Thank you.
Senator Tobiko, I believe your supplementary could happen during the tea. Do you have a supplementary question?
Tea, you have tea.
Madam Speaker, you know, the people of Kajiado will not have known what transpired during the tea session. So it's good for me to go on record as far as the supplementary is concerned. And Madam Speaker, I'll then be making also a general comment about the response by the CS. Madam Speaker, let me say first, I am shocked and dismayed about the illicit Rombo Taveta Road, Madam Speaker, in Loitoktok. Madam Speaker, and Hansard will bear me witness that his immediate predecessor, who was here, had promised this House that this road is starting in March, Madam Speaker, and we can go back to records. Madam Speaker, government seems to be then changing goalposts in terms of the issue now that he's talking about the review. Madam Speaker, on the ground, it is particularly sensitive about this, issues about this road are particularly sensitive because a rogue public servant has gone on record publicly to say this road will never be done as long as the current member of parliament for Kajiado South, Honorable Parashina, is the MP. Madam Speaker, these utterances were made by the State House Controller, and so it seems like, honestly, the government is changing goalposts. So, Madam Speaker, this is very sad.
Point of order. Senator
You will
Tobiko.
allow me to put my point across, Madam Speaker.
Gloria, what's your point of order?
Madam Speaker, in our standing orders, we are prohibited to speak or to impugn improper motive to certain offices, and that includes that of the State House Controller.
Which standing
It is
order?
in the standing order book.
Which standing order? Senator Tobiko.
Madam Speaker.
Be guided that.
Yes, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, there are no sacred cows in this country. I don't know of any, Madam
Senator
Speaker.
Tobiko, allow me to guide you. Please go to your supplementary question.
Yes,
the
yes.
standing orders do not allow you to go outside of that. Please.
Yes, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I also needed
Senator Mandago, what's your point of order?
Madam Speaker, we should be allowed to raise point of orders. Allowing this House for people to make allegations and leaving them on record without following the due requirements of this House, Madam Speaker, is becoming a dangerous precedent. Senator Tobiko has just mentioned State House Controller. Is it in order for her to make that allegation? Unless she substantiates and brings evidence to this House, we should not allow the House to be used as a place that allegations are being made, Madam Speaker.
Senator
and this
Tobiko,
morning, that is also what went on, and the Speaker did not allow point of order.
Senator Tobiko, no, a point of order on a point of order. We haven't even addressed that. Senator Tobiko, you have made allegations about somebody who is not in this House to defend themselves. So you may withdraw or provide information to substantiate what you've said at a later stage.
Madam Speaker, this will give me the best opportunity to provide evidence to this House. And so I am more than ready to bring that evidence, Madam
Senator
Speaker.
Tobiko, just hold on.
Madam Speaker, understanding order 101 on contents of speech, I didn't hear Senator Tobiko referring direct to the owner of the State House Controller by name or discussing the conduct. So the threshold that somebody wants to bring that the conduct of State House Controller being discussed is below par. Madam Speaker, so Madam Speaker, she didn't discuss the conduct as per standing order 101 on contents of speech.
So you are out of order, Senator Chirchir.
I'm not out of order.
You
it is
are
the standing order.
No, you are trying to interpret. And that is, if you have a standing order that you want to raise.
I am trying to guide, Madam Speaker.
I'm ruling you out of order. Please sit. It's your point of order, Senator Kio. Please.
Madam Speaker, every day is a learning opportunity for all of us. Madam Speaker, if we continue that way, then we are going to really make debate in this House too narrow. Madam Speaker, if I can just
order, Senator Gloria, can you allow...
You can benefit.
Senator
you can also
Kio
benefit, Senator Gloria. No, Madam Speaker, to the extent that a name has just been dropped, it doesn't mean that the reputation of the person has been put into question. And every time that we do debate here, we mention names, we mention institutions. Madam Speaker, if we say that every time you mention a name, bring a substantive motion, we will not move, Madam Speaker. And Madam Speaker, before Senator Gloria rises on our point of order, Madam Speaker, this matter, I think, is settled by yourself when Senator Tobiko said that, in fact, by those senators requiring a substantive motion to be brought here, it actually gives an opportunity to Senator Tobiko to bring a case against the State House Controller. Madam Speaker, let us facilitate debate.
Senator Kio, please raise the... You are actually discussing the issue. Senator Tobiko, I ruled on this, that on the matter that you touched, you will have opportunity to actually substantiate. And you can actually substantiate. So it is not an issue of whether debate has been stopped. Order, Senator Gloria. I have not given you any chance to speak. You are out of order. You are out of order. And I will not take it anymore. So proceed on your substantive question. On your supplementary question.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and I'm ready to produce that evidence. Madam Speaker, Madam Speaker, also on the issue of the Masai Lodge Tualak Tengela Road, I have not heard the response from the CS. What he has talked about the Gataka Road, but not Masai Lodge Tualak Tengela Road. Madam Speaker, there is no response on that one. And Madam Speaker, on the first road, the one from Daystar University to going to Stonyati, what the CS has indicated is that this road is in Machakos County. And yes, indeed it is, but ending in the middle of nowhere, Madam Speaker. And so my hope was that we will be told where this road was extending to, where it was to end, the targeted population, facilities and centers, Madam Speaker, in the hope that, Madam Speaker, because it's at the border, that finally we will have one road crossing Mombasa Road to Kajiado County, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, that is what I expected to hear, but we've not been told where this road, where exactly it was going to end, Madam Speaker, and whether it will also serve the people of Kajiado County. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Senator Tobiko, you will provide your evidence by end of day tomorrow. CS, you may now respond.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Members, the supplementary question on this particular section of road which touches in Kajiado, Elasit, Rombo, Taveta, which I did indicate, honorable members, that it is under road annuity program and which is being restructured to go under EPC. I did also give the numbers, honorable members, that to build a rural road on EPC cost us an average of 65 million against the finance, design, build, maintain, and transfer annuity program, which cost the government 125 million. What the ministry is currently doing, and a bit of time was taken in transferring this program from an annuity program to an EPC to avoid any legal challenges thereafter, took time, honorable members, walking the journey of translating that project to EPC through the Attorney General And I want to confirm that with a project like I said, 86% complete and being only 15 kilometers, honorable members, I will pay attention and ensure that we do accelerate and finish not just this project, which is 86%, but most of those projects which are near completion, so that we do not have pending works all over the country, and yet the projects are at the tail end of completion. So, Honorable Chair, allow me to prosecute this over that cup of tea with Paris and ensure that we finish this road. The movement of the road from road annuity program to EPC and complete the 15-kilometer road, remaining 14%. And I will want to confirm, on record, that I'll pay attention to this. As regarding this other road, which we seems to have skipped our attention, the Masai Lodge, Tuala, Kitengela, because I don't have a well-thought-out response and it skipped our attention, allow me, Chair, to resubmit the response on the status of the Masai Lodge, Tuala, Kitengela Road in Kajiado County. Thank you, Chair.
That is okay. Now we move on to Senator Professor Ojenda, please.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I proceed to ask question number 061 to the CS Roads and Transport. Part A, is the ministry currently undertaking real-time mapping of all roads, bridges, and other transport infrastructure affected by the April-May 2024 unprecedented rains and floods? And if so, could the CS provide a list of all affected transport infrastructure across the country? B, what flood mitigation measures are required to bring each affected infrastructure to a state where it can withstand the rains and floods currently being witnessed in the country, and which are the budgetary implications of such improvements? Could the Cabinet Secretary outline the obligation of the national government vis-a-vis those of the county governments regarding the reconstruction of each transport infrastructure affected by the floods? D, what long-term measures are being implemented to address the poor drainage systems throughout major cities and towns in the country, ensuring that such occurrences do not repeat in the future? And what are the budgetary implications of these actions? Lastly, could the CS, or what steps are being taken to compensate victims of past transport infrastructure engineering that resulted in the changes to the path and course of various rivers, of course Nairobi River in particular, hence the flooding of some homes and human settlements that naturally were not in the path of these rivers? CS, thank you, Madam Speaker.
CS.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Thank you, Professor. Let me confirm, Honorable Chair, Honorable Members, that the Ministry, through its road agencies, actively undertaking real-time monitoring and mapping of infrastructure affected by unusual heavy rains during the period April-May 24, as well as the El Nino rains of October-December 2023. This initiative aims to facilitate timely repair and reconstruction efforts. The detailed report on the observed damage to our transport infrastructure is presented together with my report, and I hope the members can make reference to that. The required mitigation measures, Chair, vary depending on the structure and the type of road pavement. Road structures such as bridges and culverts are designed to handle abnormal flows over specific return periods without incurring damage. To carry out the necessary reinstatement works, comprehensive hydrological and hydraulic studies are conducted to inform the design of these structures. Subsequently, the required works include the reinstatement of structures, enhancement of drainage systems, protection works, rebuilding and embankments, and redesign of roads, pavement, and alignments. The proposed budget to facilitate these activities is also annexed, honorable members. Honorable Speaker, according to the fourth schedule of the Constitution of Kenya on the devolved functions, the national government responsible for the construction is responsible for the construction and operation of national trunk roads and sets standards for the construction and maintenance of roads by both the national and the county governments. The county government is responsible for the construction and operation of county roads. From this, Chair, honorable members, it is evident that the national government ensures that national trunk roads meet the required standards for safety, durability, and resilience against natural disasters such as floods. In setting standards for counties, the national government provides technical expertise, guidelines, and material construction methods and maintenance practices to be followed by county governments. The county government, on the other hand, ensures accessibility and maintains roads to be passable and safe for all users. Both levels of government, honorable chair members, must collaborate in assessing and planning the construction or reconstruction of infrastructure affected by floods and instituting flood mitigation measures. On the issue of the ministry, what the ministry is currently doing, we're currently reviewing road design manuals to incorporate flood mitigation designs, principles, ensuring more resilient infrastructure capable of withstanding climate change challenges we've lately seen because of climate change challenges. The securing of waterways is ongoing to support this initiative. The ministry recognizes its constitutional and legal obligation in executing road projects. And during project conceptualization and throughout implementation stages, stakeholder consultation and engagements are deliberately undertaken. Where technical and economical feasibility outflows are designed to channel road drainage water to the nearest water course, land acquisition and compensation are carried out whenever outflows way leaves are acquired. River training is undertaken, that is redirecting water or rivers during such works, are undertaken where necessary to improve the flows of rivers, which ordinarily falls within the riparian reserve. This is really more on mitigation measures to ensure the design and redesigning of works is able to withstand a lot of the weather, environmental weather challenges that we have lately seen. And I'm aware that Professor Ojenda has been seeking to talk to me. Professor, I'll be available and we can look at some of this design together with our technical teams. Thank you, Honorable Chair.
Senator Professor Ojenda, do you have a supplementary question?
Madam Speaker, I am satisfied with the response of the CS. I will follow up my supplementaries when I meet the CS. Thank you.
Next is Senator Newton.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Speaker. And I have just three very short questions to the Honorable CS. And one, why are there no proper markings and signage on the Keno-Sagana-Marwa Road near social amenities such as schools? And could the Cabinet Secretary state when such markings will be drawn and signage put up? Number B, Madam Speaker, could the Cabinet Secretary state when the footbridge at Kenol Town will be completed and clarify whether there are plans to construct a footbridge near Kimorori Primary School to serve the 1,700 pupils and teachers of the school who currently have to walk for approximately 1 kilometer to cross the road. And finally, Madam Speaker, when will the construction of the said road be completed? Thank you.
CS.
Thank you, Chair. Honorable Chair, I wish to state that the construction of Kenol-Sagana-Marwa Road is still ongoing in some sections, and the final road marking, Chair, will be done once the works are completed. Currently, there are temporary markings on the final layer where the traffic has been allowed to use, but as soon as we sign off with the contractor, we should be able to quickly finalize the marking. This is a safety issue, and therefore we'll pay attention to that. Final road markings are in place for the following completed section. Lot 1, which is 48 kilometers on the entire road, Senator Joe Nyoto. Lot 2, which is 17 kilometers. Section has been taken over, and therefore they are marking those areas. But I'll undertake with the technical team at the ministry to ensure that the safety issues are immediately addressed, because marking will support the safety concerns of the road users. The construction of the footbridge at Kenol is currently 60% completed. Honorable Chair, with steel fabrication for the deck underway at the fabricator's yard. However, the footbridge near Kimorori Primary has faced delays due to pending land acquisition for the bridge landing.
CS, I think the session now will end. Honorable Senators, it's now 1:15, and having extended this sitting by 15 minutes, the Senate stands adjourned until Wednesday, 18 September 2024 at 2:30 p.m. CS, this session is not over. There were a few more questions, and we didn't get members to ask, so we will be getting in touch to reschedule another session with you. Yes. The Senate now stands adjourned until Wednesday, 18 September 2024 at 2:30 p.m. Stands adjourned until Wednesday, 18 September 2024 at 2:30 p.m.
We know it's a great honor and pleasure for CPST to host our 12th webinar series. I want to take this opportunity to thank all of you, particularly those who are repeat attendees. There are some who keep coming to our webinars, maybe 12 of them. We want to thank you. Today we have two very distinguished speakers who will be introduced shortly by our moderator. The topic, as you can see, it's one that we're looking forward to hear how the practitioners, there one in the parliamentary sector, the other one in development area, what AI is doing to, particularly how it become related to legislative work. So let me take this opportunity to introduce the moderator of our session. He's the Director General of the Parliamentary Joint Services of Kenya, but his name is Clement Nyandiere. Clement Nyandiere has been the DG in the Parliamentary Joint Services since the year 2012, but he joined Parliament in the year 2007. Therefore, total he has done 17 years in the Parliamentary Service Commission. As a Director General, the DG is responsible for all the shared services of both houses of Kenyan Parliament, which is Senate and National Assembly. And there he's in charge of HR, administration, finance, research, legal services, and IT. So we could not have had a better person to moderate this because he oversees all the ICT services in the Parliamentary Service Commission. It's worth noting that before joining Parliament, Clement Nyandiere taught ICT courses at Strathmore University, where he did for 10 years. So together, this gentleman has been working for 37 years. That's a long time. Is it 37? 27 years, 27 years. So that's a very cumulative experience of 37 years. And he has a lot of interest in technology integration and management. And therefore, he's very well placed to interact with the speakers and with them with your questions as he sends them to the respective presenters. Mr. Nyandiere, I welcome you to this 17th webinar. Please moderate it, and we're looking forward to a good interaction with you and everybody else. Karibuni sana. Welcome, DG.
Thank you very much, Prof, with that introduction. I think the AI must have told you 37 should be 27. Good morning, everyone, and we are welcome to this webinar. As it has been introduced, we have two key presenters. One will make a detailed presentation, and then there will be a discussant. The honorable team that has joined on board, and I think it's still piling up, the numbers are getting through. This is a very current topic, the issue of artificial intelligence. Those of us who did a course in IT encountered this many years ago, and that time it was very rudimentary. It was a lot to do with robotics, machine learning, and elements of how the human being can be simulated by a machine, and the machine is able to do much more than what a human being can do. Now we are at the level where we are discussing the application of artificial intelligence in legislative business. And that's why we have here good contact from the European Union, Mr. Dr. Ludovic Delepin, who has cumulatively 30 years experience in IT, particularly in ICT governance and in public administration, enterprise architecture, digital transformation, and currently heads the archives unit in the Directorate General of the Presidency, that is the European Parliament Presidency. He has previously been a lecturer, teacher in IT at several French universities, as well as a researcher in CNRS laboratories in the area of artificial intelligence. So allow me to take this opportunity to invite Mr. Ludovic, who is going to make a presentation of about 20 minutes. After that, we will have Mr. Irura, our own from Kenya, to be a discussant, a response. And after that, members will have a 15 or so question and answer. And allow me to inform you that if you have any question as this progresses, please send your question on the chat. Thank you and welcome, Mr. Ludovic.
DG Ludovic is mute. You could unmute. We can't hear you.
Ludovic, if you can unmute and present, please.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for the introduction. My name is Ludovic Delepin. I'm the head of the archives unit, and I'm also the co-chairman of the IT Governance Hub from the Interparliamentary Union. And I would like to introduce you some experience we had in the domain of artificial intelligence within the European Parliament. As mentioned before, I'm currently leading the archives of the European Parliament, and the archives are composed of all documents that have been produced and received by the European Parliament since 1952. So it represents something like 5 linear kilometers of paper files documents, around 5 to 6 million records of documents, and 2 gigabytes of digital documents that have been produced or received. So we have quite a huge collection, and something that artificial intelligence likes a lot is data. There's a lot of domains that you can apply artificial intelligence since you have a lot of data, and when you have millions of documents, this means that you have a lot of data that you can play with. So we started our experience in artificial intelligence in 2021. We first set up a very simple chatbot that had 2 main functions. The first one was to answer to basic questions related to the archival domain. What is a phone? What is a Siri? What kind of standards we are using in archiving world, or enabling to look for a document based on very specific information to navigate through the hierarchy of the document storage. So it was pretty interesting, but extremely limited. For each of the indent we wanted to gain more information about, we had to give 32 different ways to express the same thing. So it was really the basic of artificial intelligence in terms of modern chatbots. And we decided to move to a new generation in 2022, making use of classification. So we work on several domains, thanks to some evolutions in AI and some algorithms that were made available mainly by universities. And we worked on automatic classification, automatic summarization, automatic indexation. So all these activities that are very time consuming when you have to perform them with human beings, but that can be very easily made with algorithms. So this was the second generation we had. It was in 2022, and we extended this version with natural language processing or pseudo-natural language processing, trying to start to understand questions in natural language and trying to extract automatically named entities within our documents. This means that when we had the documents, we were in a position to extract the name of the persons, the organizations, dates, events, countries, so a set of entities that we could predefined, and extract from the documents to ease the filtering of these documents to search more easily in huge collections. So we made available at this time being hundreds of thousands of documents. And we finally decided to move to a new generation making full use of generative artificial intelligence in 2024. And that's what we call Archibot 3, which is our latest version. And we wanted through this evolution to address mainly the multilingual context. So being able to address in natural language, in all the official working languages from the European Union, let's say an advanced search within the documents we were publishing, because now we are moving to millions of documents that are made available. One thing I need to precise is that the documents that have been made available for citizens through this software are all public archive documents. This means that all the documents have more than 30 years. So this is one of the basic rules that we have into the regulation related to the archive in the European Union. Everything which is more than 30 years should be made available to the public through public archive documents. So currently we have all documents from 1952 until 1994, which are available online. From our journey, what were the main challenges we wanted to face? The first one is we wanted to interpret queries in natural language. So our previous generation, launched through Archibot 2, was able to understand a kind of pseudo language or pseudo natural language. We were still able to use formal languages with logic operators like and, or, not. But this, we wanted to be more citizen-friendly and more oriented to clear language. So we wanted to be able to really understand natural language questions. The second one was about to access pertinent information through relevant retrieval of data. And the main point is, if you ask a question to the European Parliament, what we want to do is to provide an answer with documents from the European Parliament, not from any other sources, neither the European Commission or the Council or any other entities that would have made some comments about the activities from the European Parliament. The next point is to accept many languages. So as you know, maybe in the European Union, we have 24 official working languages. So that's the first language set we wanted to cover. But it was also about expanding the access to all documents for other languages which are widely spoken in the world, such as Hindi, Arabic, simplified Chinese, or Norwegian, if we have closer countries. So this was the second point. And the third point, sorry. And the last one was also to ensure transparency. So when you are using artificial intelligence, one of the main points you have to address is how will the system explain how the answer was generated? So which information was used in order to generate an answer? If you are working in the archival domain, most of the people who will use your system are or archivists or historians. And one of the properties from these people when they are working is they will never trust a secondary source. They will always go to the primary source. So for us, it was extremely important that we are able to highlight all the documents that were used in order to generate an answer. So this was about transparency, which is also called explicability. So this was the main points we wanted to address. So using a plain large language such as ChatGPT or Claude or Llama or the one you want. The first one is understanding queries. Well, these systems are now extremely efficient in the domain of natural language processing. Retrieving relevant data you cannot control the data set that has been used. So if you ask a plain language model, then you will have an answer based on the data set that has been used to train the system, for which you have no control and nobody is making them public. So that's for us a serious issue. The third one is to accept many languages. And nowadays we see that most of the languages which have been documented in the world are available through plain languages, and ensuring transparency. This is something that you see more and more. So they try to provide the sources, or when you request, they provide the sources that has been made available to generate the answer. So just a basic answer with ChatGPT, for instance, we ask a question, say, okay, what was the evolution of the public health policy in the European Parliament? And of course, we limited the scope between 1952 and 1994. And you see there that some documents have been used from the Parliament to generate the answer, but also some documents from the European Commission, meaning that it was, let's say, trained with a huge data set. The second question was raised to Anthropic's Claude, which is another large language model. And on this version, the answer was using not only documents from the Parliament, but also from ELEX, which is from the Publication Office of the European institutions, and also on one side, which is CBCE, which is, by the way, not existing anymore, but for which the documents were trained in, which is the Department of History from the University of Luxembourg. So how to make a large language model being domain specific when you want to address only your documents, or you can build an entire domain specific model from scratch, but this is really far from being reasonable. And inside the European Union, the European Commission is working on such a project. It will take years. Well, it's not something that you can consider as being an entity to develop it by yourself. It's really too time consuming and document consuming. You need to have billions of documents so that you can use correctly, so that you can learn with your system and provide an adequate answer. The second one is fine tuning. So fine tuning is adding documents to a large language model which has already
It's 50%, 50%. That is for the 2 semesters. I think I'm spot on that. On the matter of bursaries, bursaries are given to the students being financed under the DUC model, which was already clarified by the PS. So the bursary are aligned to the old financing model. On the matter of, the students are expected to repay the loans once they have gone through their schooling. And in fact, after school, they are given a grace period of 1 year, meaning for starters, then it will be an average, the minimum period to start repayment is at 5 years. But for those doing medicine, of course, progressively, after they finish the course, they added 1 year, so that is a grace period. And that is an item, of course, we continue to discuss and engage with our clients. On the matter of brothers and sisters of Muslim faith, I know part of our resource mobilization strategy, we've been trying to get a Sharia-compliant product in cognizance of the challenges faced. And in fact, in the current proposals for the bills that will be tabled in this parliament, that Sharia-compliant product is part of the conversation. So yes, they will be catered for. Thank you.
For
this side speaker, please.
Naika, number 1.
Nakuru, please. Mr. Speaker, Nakuru County.
Mama Lamu, number 2.
Joro, please. Speaker, Joro constituency. Speaker,
I'll give to
Speaker,
Clive, number 3.
Your front part, Speaker.
And I'll give.
Speaker, now you are in favor.
I'll give Mama Embu, number 4.
Yeah, thank you, Speaker.
Everybody will have a chance. Just be patient.
Thank you.
1 question each.
Thank you, Speaker. Speaker, I'm not clear on one issue. We have been talking about classifications of poverty. But there are, in my constituency right now, there's a lot of arambes taking place for children who have been called to the university. But some cannot even afford to do arambes, and they have been called. I want to know if there's a system whereby the very poor who live with their grandmothers and grandfathers can enter the university, and the issue of payment is done when they have entered. That is my question.
Asante, Bwana Spika. Mwanzo ningependa kufafanua hii marginalization iko, tusikatae. Wale wengi watachukua, lakini na sisi tusipokonywe uhuru wa kuzungumza. Kwa sababu Bwana Spika, sahihi ninavyokuambia, mumeona kwa media watoto youth 108 wameenda Al-Shabaab na wameuawa. Mimi leo nakwambia hapa 60 wametoka Lamu East. Na haya mambo kutukataza sisi kuwa marginalized ndio inafanya mambo hayo. Na Lamu ikiwa unsafe, Kenya is not safe. Hilo mwataka mulijue. Sio tukitamka tu marginalization, watu wanataka kutugandamiza tunyamaze. Hasa swali langu ni hili kwa PS. Sijui kama una mipango gani.
Nani unyamaze mama? Wewe uliza swali tu.
Mr. Speaker, Mbaya amezungumza marginalization, akasimama mbunge asiseme hivyo. Kwa nini asiseme hivyo na ndio iliyoko? Lakini kwengine kuna shida zaidi.
Endelea kuuliza swali.
Ndio nasema nyinyi mnaweza mkachukua kila kitu, lakini uhuru wetu wa kuzungumza msituatishe. Swali langu ni hili kwa PS. Speaker, please protect me kwa hao walio wengi.
You are fully protected. Order, go on, Roida.
Lakini shida zingine ni nyingi. Speaker nasema hivi kwa PS. Kwetu mwanzo PS amesema huduma center, lakini nataka ufikirie huduma center kama ya Lamu ni Lamu Town. Mtu akiunga kutoka Kiunga mpaka Lamu Town mpaka atumie 8,200. area zile zenye unique challenges umezifikiria vipi? Kama sahihi Mkokoni hakuna hata network, wale wamefikiriwa vipi? Usipange kitu ya jumuiya Kenya nzima, kuna wengine wana unique challenges. Sisi kama Lamu East nataka kujua tuko brand gani ndio nujue kama mna ukweli au ni mambo tu mnajifanyia. Asante.
Yes, Clive. Yes, Elijah, what's the point of order? Use the mic. Just press, it will come on.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and sorry for that. I was just saying, when we talk about education, which is an equalizer, and all of us here are members of parliament who have CDF equal, then it is very unfortunate when we start looking at our constituencies, regardless of what we are saying.
Point of order. Point of order.
You must understand.
Point of order.
You have it.
Clive.
And it can work.
No, point of order. CDF is not equal.
Order.
Who is giving equal? I'm not, we are, Lamu East, you are not getting equal.
Oh, Mama Roida. I didn't rule you out of order, so sit down. You are in order. Go on, Clive.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Ask you one question.
Honorable Speaker, I would like to know from the PS if they have been able to merge the application of this together. If they have been able to merge the funding application together with the university placement application, COOPS. The reason I'm asking that, Honorable Speaker, is if this was done at the point of application for COOPS and placement, it means by February, all these issues we're handling today could have been tackled and the students could have had enough time for appeal process, whereby even them as a ministry can be able to use grassroots leaders like DCCs and ACCs for appeal program. Have they been able to merge that?
Thank you.
Secondly, Honorable Speaker, the banding. The numbers that have gone to band 4 and 5 are people earning over 120,000. And that's why they've put majority of the students. Yes, we understand that there is a lot of maybe fake information that came in. But even the statistics out there, do they justify to tell us that such many people earn over 120,000 shillings in Kenya?
Yes, double N.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Mine is one question and a suggestion. And I want to ask the PS, what are the modalities or parameters
Sergeant, can you give the PS
used for categorizing students to the different brands, and how fair and effective is it in ensuring that most deserving students are selected for the correct brand? And the other suggestion, Honorable Speaker, to the PS is that there was a directive that if any student has a problem with the certificate because of the school balance, that they should not be denied their certificates. But the PS has categorically said that for the current students attending the universities, they don't need these certificates. But we still know that we have other students who are not necessarily going to the universities and they deserve to have their certificates. Can the ministry, through the PS who is here, allow us as honorable members to do the data, collect the data of all the students whose certificates are outstanding in the schools, in the secondary schools, and they have never been issued to them because of the fee balances that they owe the schools. Thank you very much.
PS, can you answer those four?
Honorable Speaker, I will invite Monari to respond to the questions by Honorable Naika and Honorable Roida. Then I'll come in with a question by Honorable Clive.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. On the issue of allowing students who, by Honorable Naika, allowing students who depend on Harambes to report to schools. I want to affirm that all the universities and the chair of the Vice Chancellor's committee is here, that the students will be allowed to report to the universities, and they'll find staff from the university's fund and help to guide them on how to apply for the application. The other thing I want to emphasize on...
Panamonare, you know the problem we have?
Yes.
You are whispering very good things to MPs here, but out there things are different. Can you from here as an order, as a ministry, issue a public communication for children to go to school, their money can follow them? Because what you are saying here and what the vice chancellors are doing out there is totally different.
Okay. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I'm sure the PS will be able to respond to that. But one thing I want to emphasize on, we have also noted that the students who have been on Harambee are shy to tick on the form that they were on Harambee. Some of them have not been able to do that. So what we are saying is that let them just give us that evidence.
No. Mr. Speaker, let me clarify my point. I didn't say, I said there are some students who are called. They are not even able to do Harambee. So they don't have Harambee. They call and nobody comes. So can they report to university? Until...
He has said they will. Now go and tell them to report. Go on.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Let me go to the next question by Honorable Obo on access to application. I want to confirm that, number one, we understand that there are students who cannot access these facilities because of where they come from. And that is why we have given a chance for these students to report to universities, and we have facilitated our staff to be there to assist these students. So these students will be given a chance to apply while in campus, and then they can be able to submit their applications, and then we can be able to process those applications. Thank you very much.
Next. Who is answering?
Mr. Speaker, please.
No. You know we have to be clear. Are they reporting and be sent back home, or they are reporting to continue with the education?
Yes, PS. Go on to the next.
Honorable Speaker, the questions by Honorable Clive on the merging of the placement body, that is Kenya Universities and Colleges Central Placement Board and Universities Fund and Higher Education Loans Board. I'd like to confirm that we have already started working on the initial design. However, this has not been implemented immediately because these platforms are being used actively for students to apply for funds and also to process the appeals. However, it is our commitment that during the next funding cycle, these platforms will be fully merged and the data will be processed simultaneously. Then there was another question on why this banding is skewed towards band 4 and 5. Honorable Speaker, without reliable data on income, it is very difficult for us to use income precisely to predict for the time being. However, I want to say, Honorable Speaker, that I have data here from the National Examination Council for the results of the students who are now joining university. And according to this data, 84.8% of the students who scored C+ and above, 84.8% of the students who scored C+ and above studied in national schools. So we can see that actually this admission is skewed towards national schools. Honorable Speaker, in these national schools, the students were paying 53,000 minimum. We also know that there are other levies. Some of these students also studied in private schools. So it may be very unfortunate, but it is indeed the reality of our circumstances that the students from sub-county schools, the students from county schools and extra-county school are disproportionately represented in our universities. And so when we use the secondary school that a student went to as an indicator, and the students went to national schools, and they have not demonstrated that they were funded through Harambes, or they had a guardian or bursaries, then it becomes very difficult for us not to discriminate, not to use that variable as a discriminator. However, this is what then opens the opportunity for appeal, so that with more information, we can then correctly classify these students. And this will also include visiting some sampled students in their homes. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker.
Yes, Owen.
My point of order is this, Honorable Speaker. The principle should be everybody is poor unless proved rich. Not the other way. They are saying everybody is rich until they prove that he is poor. This is Kenya. We know the income levels. Very few people go to 120,000. Very few people, 50, 60. Honorable Speaker, they need to change the principle. Then we will save Kenyan youth.
Yes,
thank you.
Yes, Minority Whip. Just press the button and it will come on. Look for the next.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want to appeal to the ministry that their presumption is actually extremely defective. Even as we speak now, I have a student from my constituency who's just finished in Alliance with a balance of 94,000 Kenya shillings because it's CDF that has paid for her from Form 1 to Form 4. Most of our students from our constituencies are actually being paid for by CDF. That's why they're in those national schools. So if you can actually, and I addressed that issue earlier, and I would request them to relook at it. The issue the schools of a school somebody attended is very misleading. Because most of us are in WhatsApp group fundraising, parents sacrifice to even do those fundraisers so that kids can go to good schools for a better life, not that they can afford it. So can you please relook, because it's very misleading, the issue of those schools.
What you probably should do before we go to the next round, I thought I had the Monari say they have opened a desk at each university. Upon reporting, if the data you put in, because you know, the assessment is based on self-generated data. So if you put in data based on erroneous facts or misapprehension of facts or total misunderstanding, then advise students in your constituencies that upon reporting the university, they go to that desk, and I hope that desk is there, and explain that I went to a national school in Alliance or Kamsinga, not because I was rich, but because I passed well at standard 8 or 7, standard 8, and the bursaries from the CDF paid my fees all through. So my parents have nothing. But you are assessing me because I went to a national school where we pay so much, which was not my money, was not my parents' money, was from a public kitty. So also advise students when they report to go to those desks and make those clarifications so that the data available on them is then adjusted to the reality. Yes, let's take another 4. Yes. Let me start with Dawood.
Mr. Speaker, please. Mr. Speaker, front face of you.
Order, honorable members, no soliciting. No soliciting. I know all of you. Oundo. Pareo.
Honestly.
And the member right at the back, is that member for Uriri? Those are 4. We'll still take more.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want to ask the PS. The PS has talked about boom. The boom she has talked about, is it per year or is it per month or what? What is the
that has already been answered.
No,
that they give twice per year.
Equal amounts or the same amount?
Yes.
Okay.
First semester, 1/2. Second semester, the
Okay.
other half.
Fine. Let me ask my question now. That was not the question, no. Mr. Speaker, you know, going to university, it's not just tuition fees. I had a student who was going from Meru, and he got very good marks and all that. He had to pay for the whole year accommodation fees before he even is enrolled into the university. Mr. Monari has said they should go. What Honorable Naika has asked, if he goes there, will he be sent back? Yes, he will be sent back because accommodation fees has to be paid up front, the whole amount. So if it is going to be like that, then how are the students going to study? If they do not have the money, accommodation fees may be 50 to 100,000.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I just have 2 questions. Specifically, the first one, the timelines from the date of appeal and the timeline when the decision on what if there's been any change in the banding, how long does it take? Second, Honorable Speaker, the greatest problem in this funding model are the vice chancellors. They come and mislead the PS and the cabinet secretary, but when they go to back to the universities, they give the registrars completely contradictory instructions. For example, I just want to pick up what he has been saying. You have to pay the accommodation fee in advance, yet there is this boom that is coming they're supposed to use. I've seen the chair of the university chancellors as here. Can he give a commitment to this country today, here, that they're not going to contradict whatever decisions they make at the Ministry of Education? Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Agnes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity. And my question, the first question is that I want the PS to clarify to us of the deadline for the application. Because as I heard her speak, she said that first was the deadline, and then she said that these students can continue with the application in the schools. So I'm wondering, how will these students go to school, yet they are supposed to pay for the houses where they will stay? Then again, I want to remind them that the constituencies we come from are constituencies where there is no electricity and where there is no network. So at the moment as I was coming yesterday, there were so many students in town trying to struggle to apply for the bursaries. So did they really consider these students who are poor and who come from those areas where there is no network and there is no electricity?
Thank you. Oriri, member for Oriri. Oriri. So go on.
Okay, thank you, Honorable Speaker. First, allow me to commend your comments about this kind of funding we have. Because when I was doing my maths here, I realized that all the funding we are talking about can constitute around 80% coming from the government, the universities, of their need. So by declaring universities and colleges free, we'll need only to top 20% and we make it free. And Madam PS, if you ask me, I would suggest that we work towards making university and colleges funding free. And if you can make a proposal to Parliament to consider,
funding universities and colleges, I think we'll do a better service to the Republic. My last concern, which I want to bring as a suggestion to you, when you look at Kenya as we are talking today, we are one country with a lot of inequalities. You talk about my constituency, you go through Turkana and other areas. There are students who completed their secondary education and expected to go to the university and cannot access network. They cannot apply for all what we are talking about here. They don't have the information we are discussing here today. And if you want to treat these people equally, we must provide equal opportunities and allow them to report to the colleges, and anything which is required of them, let them do at the college level. But let us not expect them to be equal with others and do the same at the family level. It's not possible. Some parents are too ignorant of whatever we are talking about here. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Yes, what's the point of order?
I think the ministry is living in maybe in space, because let them know that in this country or in any African setup, it is the poor that produce more children, because they do not have any TV, they do not have other entertainment. Their only entertainment is to produce children. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, if you want to equate students from national schools, having been perhaps maybe well off, but let me say this, we even try in our local schools to produce students who can go there. Just yesterday, Mr. Speaker, I was sending hostel fee for my student in Laikipia University, because he says, I cannot be admitted. I have to buy them suitcases. I've got to buy them everything. So there is inequality in the first place where teachers are posted. You find schools like Alliance High School, they have all the teachers they require and even more. But in our schools, they do not even have teachers. Yet we even perform well, Mr. Speaker. So let them come out of their imagination that it is only schools at national level that perform and perhaps that are actually well off. Let them actually come out, out of that dream. Otherwise, these inequalities are killing us, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
You hijacked that point of order to say something unrelated. Now, PS, we've taken the 4. I'll still give you, members.
Thank you. Honorable Speaker, I would like to request the Vice Chancellor, Professor Daniel Mugendi, the Chair of all Vice Chancellors, to respond to the issue raised by Honorable Wundo, and the Vice Chancellor for Laikipia University, Professor Rotich, to respond to the issue that was raised by Honorable Ondege on the making university education free. Monari here will respond to the issue raised by Honorable Daud on accommodation fees, and Zuki will respond to the question raised by Honorable Shimba on the family tree and equality. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Vice Chancellor, tell us, are you, Vice Chancellor, the biggest problem in this setup? That's what. Yes, KJ, what's your point of order?
Mr. Speaker, the opportunity has been given to a Vice Chancellor. Maybe this will be the right time for them to answer a question that you asked that was glossed over. And the bigger question was on communication, Mr. Speaker. You did ask where the disconnect is between the ministry and the universities.
Your mic is off. Use the next mic.
Mr. Speaker, now that the opportunity has been given to a Vice Chancellor, maybe this would be the opportunity to answer a question that you had asked to Madam PS, but was glossed over. Mr. Speaker, you had asked, is there a disconnect between what the ministry is saying and what the universities are doing? And even on that, Mr. Speaker, the channels of communication, is it all being left to be communicated by the president, where the minister, the PS, the HELB, and all other people who attend to these issues in the Ministry of Education are mute to a point where you have had to call a Kamukunji to explain it to members of parliament. These members of parliament are good consumers of media. They are very well versed with what is happening on the ground, but they still do not understand this funding model, Mr. Speaker, meaning that the communication that we are being given here today is not trickling down to the ground. We are being told that they are using a multi-channel approach, which includes, I don't know, digital media, social media, and other medias. Mr. Speaker, the point is that all that has been said
Well, a very good day to you, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of the Candid Talk here on Herman Manyora's YouTube channel. My name is Evans Okinyi, and I'm always glad to bring you up to date with a comprehensive analysis of all that is taking place in this country and across our borders, only on Kenya's most comprehensive political and public governance analysis show. Definitely, I'm talking about the Candid Talk here with Herman Manyora. How are you, sir?
Fine.
It seems like the woes of the deputy president are still on, and they're not ending anytime soon. The leader of majority in the National Assembly, Kimani Ichung'wah, whom you've actually dismissed here as inconsequential, tells the president directly that, look, shake off the rattlesnake on your hand. And this is actually in the deputy president's backyard in Nyeri. The deputy president was not in attendance at that particular meeting, but even his most ardent defender, of course, the Nyeri governor, was at that particular meeting, but he did not actually try speaking in a manner that would perhaps defend the deputy president. So far, so good. All these moves, Kindiki is on the rise. Don't you think that maybe it wouldn't be proper for us to say that his goose is finally cooked?
Why? I don't know.
Tell me, look at this.
I'm not convinced.
This is something that we've been talking here with you.
Yeah,
We've had this conversation before.
Yes.
But then you see the rift between the deputy president and the president is now here. These people, it's like they are fully determined to make sure that they get rid of him.
You see, the deputy president doesn't have to be everywhere the president is. So his absence there is not an issue.
His own county.
Yeah, that's normal. You don't know. First of all, you and I don't know why he was not there.
Okay.
The president would know. Supposing he fell ill. Supposing he was indisposed. Supposing, of course, I hear he was somewhere else.
He was somewhere else.
Supposing it was much more important that he be that other place, and his boss understood. So what is the problem? And Ichung'wah and the rest will continue talking what they are talking. Yeah, that's normal in politics.
Okay.
They will continue defending a position they hold. And Gachagua should not be shaken, and I doubt that he's shaken. Yeah. Yeah. Unajua kelele ya chura hawezi kuzuia ng'ombe kunywa chai. So kina Ichung'wah can make all the noise they want.
So you're here talking about kelele za chura. Now, make me understand this. Now, look at the numbers in terms of support right now. When you compare those who are rallying behind Kithure Kindiki and Rigathi Gachagua therein, would you then say that these people are not serious and that perhaps those who are supporting Kithure Kindiki may be inconsequential?
They are inconsequential. How? You know, that side has the elected leaders. Gachagua has the people on the ground. So, look, what do you need in politics? You need the people. Of course, you need leaders also. But I think, given a choice between having the ground, which Gachagua has, and having the leaders, which the Kindiki side has, which one would you pick
so
if you are a politician?
What makes you think that Gachagua has the ground?
But we know it's a reality. It is reality. Let them go there without the president. You know, the taste of the pudding is in the eating. Let Kimani Ichung'wah and his team, let them go back to Nyeri without the president and address a gathering. You know, the taste of the pudding is in the eating.
You remember,
if Ichung'wah thinks he's popular, let him organize rallies where the president is not there.
You remember back then, Gachagua dared the likes of Ichung'wah to go and speak on the mountain. And suddenly these people
under the cover of the president, hiding under
the president, but here they were.
Anything, they would rush into the court of the president and awafunika hivi.
Okay.
Let them go on their own. Now, I just dare them. Let's test the pudding by eating. Let Kimani Ichung'wah organize his team. Let them go back where they were and address the people.
Those who
let's not go into a lot of stories.
Those who crowned Kithure Kindiki as the regional kingpin for that particular area, of course, maybe you talk.
How many people have been crowned?
All those people who spoke at that particular time.
Even clowns have been crowned.
Did that without
even clowns have been crowned. Yeah.
The president was not at that particular meeting, but they did so.
Those, there is a way in which you can test an authentic crowd, and there's a way in which you can see that this is clearly a stage managed gathering.
Okay.
So if somebody has 10 million shillings and he wants to buy a crowd, he will get a crowd. But if there's an authentic crowd, there was a day during the elections of 2017 or 2022, Uhuru and Ruto went to Suswa, somewhere in Masai, I think, and purported to be getting Masai support. So it was a big crowd. But the people said this. So on social media, we were being shown two crowds: a Masai crowd with Raila, and another crowd with Uhuru and Ruto. You could see clearly this is a Masai crowd by the shukas, the sticks, and the vibe of the crowd. So a crowd you can buy.
Okay.
So those ones can go anywhere and buy a small crowd and busybodies and purport to be crowning somebody a leader. Many people have been, even Justin Mtudu was crowned in the same region.
Okay.
Yeah, you can be crowned, but the ground is with Gachagua in Mount Kenya. That is a fact. If you want somebody can try to change that, but first of all, accept it's a fact.
Okay.
It doesn't have to be permanent. You can change it. And I've always advised the president, move fast before you completely lose Mount Kenya. Move fast and reclaim it, because it is slipping through your fingers. A bit of it has already fallen on the ground. Pick it. Mend fences with Gachagua, mend fences with the people of Mount Kenya, and you salvage whatever is left of your presidency.
So by saying that he should mend fences with Gachagua, do you therefore concur that there is a rift between the president and the deputy president?
It appears there is.
Okay, now tell me, what would be the consequences of shaking off the rattlesnake as Kimani Ichung'wah put it to the president?
This snake, I also want to tell Ichung'wah about the snake. They purport to be Christians. I hear them quoting the verses here and there. When the children of Israel were struck with leprosy, how are they healed? Let them just Google leprosy in the Bible, how they were healed. They were told to look at the copper snake. Eyes on the copper serpent, eyes on the copper snake, and you get healed. You just look at the snake and you get healed. Does Ichung'wah know the symbol of medicine is a snake?
Okay.
Does the Ichung'wah know even the staff, ile bakora ya bishop, ukiona hiyo ni nyoka? Let them go and read. So, the snake maybe is medicinal, or medicinal, whatever you want to say. You know? Yeah.
So in this case, they actually...
Dawa ni nani? Ni Gachagua. So, as he correctly calls him a snake, ni dawa.
So you're saying that so far Gachagua has the ground in Mount Kenya region.
Yeah,
but then now,
that's a fact.
My question would be therefore...
We said it even when Ruto had the ground. We said Ruto had the ground.
Okay.
Uhuru had lost the ground. Some people from that side didn't want to hear. But Ruto had the Mount Kenya ground. When Raila began making inroads and almost getting a bit of it, we said he's at 20. And when elections came, he was around that percentage. So we know these things. We don't need to be magicians or we know it.
Okay, so you tell me, what would be the danger of, because when they say that, when Kimani Ichung'wah says that shake off the snake, then definitely it would mean that get rid of Gachagua. And that would perhaps we would be looking at a possible impeachment. So what would be the danger in doing this?
It will be the end of Ruto, as far as getting votes is concerned. He will kiss bye-bye the votes of Mount Kenya. And by extension, he will have it very rough getting sufficient votes. And I'm using the word sufficient votes. Kenyans have the tendency to get some of us wrong. When we say somebody will win or lose, we are basing on honest votes. we are not catering for other shenanigans. You get it? Because we are not in the campaign team of Raila in 2022. So when we say he's winning, we are not saying as part of the campaign team. We are saying the votes are there on the ground. But if somebody else is going to use other unorthodox means to get the votes, that's beyond us. Okay. But if I was in the Raila campaign, if I say as a member of the campaign team is winning, I will take care of those shenanigans, and therefore we will actually win. Okay. So I'm saying that Gachagua has a ground in Mount Kenya. Okay. Yeah. And I'm equally saying, if Ruto loses those votes, he will not compensate for those votes by the Luo Nyanza vote, by the Western vote. Western people have, other than the Kikuyus, the largest number of votes. But do they vote? Do they even register? My people, the people of Mlembe Nation, the Luya Nation, do they vote? They don't have an interest. They used to be one of the most political groups in the country. If you look at the trade union movement, it's not just a trolley. But when it comes to voting, they don't seem to have an interest. So you cannot remove Kikuyu people who know what a voting is and replace them with Luyas. They will not give you sufficient votes. The Luo, when their own son came the closest he has ever come to becoming president in 2022, 700,000 people from Luo counties didn't vote. 700 out of 2.1 is about 30%. If only half of those people had voted, 350,000 Luos, Raila, even with all the shenanigans, Raila would still have won. Winning to mean he would have become president. So how can you abandon Mount Kenya just because of some little differences with Gachagua? And go hoping that you'll get enough votes to compensate from Nyanza and from Western. You must be making very wrong calculations.
Okay. So you're saying that losing Gachagua would mean losing the Mount Kenya vote?
It's automatic.
And coupled with
it goes without saying.
Coupled with the kind of mood that is in the
country it goes without saying.
And by putting Gachagua on the limelight, these people are actually building him.
Yes. Gachagua has done nothing. Wamemjenga tu. They have just pushed him to the top of Mount Kenya and he's seated there comfortably. Yeah.
Finally, Caleb Amisi says, tells the Mount Kenya MPs that get rid of Gachagua right now or else they'll get rid of you in 2027. Do you get...
obvious. Is either. Yeah, it's either Gachagua goes or they go. I can bet they will go. First, there is no way Gachagua can be impeached.
Okay.
For two reasons. You will not impeach Gachagua because you will not get the numbers. Don't lie to yourself. I've said the magical truth, when you are about to impeach somebody, the sort of politics, high octane politics, the interest at play, ethnicity at play, resources mobilized, to get 2/3 to impeach Gachagua will be near impossible. Remember, you come from Kiambu or Nyeri and you think you are going to vote against Gachagua in the National Assembly. You want to go back home. So these interests are there. People, when the time comes, you see people shying away because you never step home. That's the end of your political career. So that is that's number one why you will not impeach Gachagua. The second reason why you not impeach him is it doesn't make political sense. On the contrary, impeaching Gachagua will be political suicide for William Samoei Arap Ruto. Political suicide. Imagine impeaching a son of the soil. Son of the
truthful man.
The truthful. Yani, I'm talking about you go to a region, get a son from that region and impeach him. You and that region, kusha.